The Auburn Tigers must force Alabama to throw.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. We're joined on this Friday, this Iron Bowl Eve, by Jake Crain of Crain and Company. And Jake, I think Auburn's got their hands full when you look ahead to the Iron Bowl tomorrow. But to me, they've got to keep this low scoring. They've got to keep it ugly and create as much chaos as they possibly can. And I think defensively, they've got to make Milroe throw the football, keep him in the pocket, make him throw the football over and over and over again, and give Auburn's defensive backs a chance to make a play.
Yeah, well, look, number one, it's good to join you. I hope, everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving and all that. Look, here's the thing. Obviously, the talent gap is as big as it's going to be while Hugh Freeze is at Auburn facing Alabama. Auburn's going to have to catch some breaks, right? There's no secret. I don't see Auburn having, the personnel to be able to go out there and dominate, this Alabama team. To me, it starts with stopping the run. Multiple times this year, we've seen this Alabama team, and obviously the last, 3 weeks, it seems like they've really tailored that game plan more toward Milroe. But what we've seen is this Alabama team struggle to run the ball at certain points, and Auburn has got to find the way to stop the run. You want to make Jalen Milroe throw the ball? We'll get him in predictable passing downs. That's what Auburn's going to have to do, and I think Auburn can do that. I actually think Auburn can stop the run. The question becomes, when you do get them, if you can get them in third and predictable passing downs, what do? Well, you got to do a little bit of everything. You've got to give Jalen Milroe the buffet. You can't just give him a single course meal. We're just going to pressure him most of the night, or we're just going to rush three for most of the night, or we're just going to show pressure and bluff for most of the night. You got to give him everything. You got to mix up looks because he's very comfortable. But one of the most important things on those predictable passing downs is you have got to find a way to not overrush him, which some guys do, rush past the quarterback when a quarterback's athletic because they're trying to get there and they end up elongating the space. But also when you do get there, especially if you blitz and you blitz with man in the back end and you're skinny and necking in the back end, you have got to get him down. So it starts with stopping the run. You get them in predictable passing downs. That's one way to make Jalen Milroe have to beat you.
Yeah. And look, Auburn's done okay on third down. Not last week, but in the weeks leading up to last week, they were good at getting off the field on third down. That's going to be a key part of it, because I think this Alabama offense is going to try to strike fast, and I also think they're going to try to get up a bunch of points early to put Auburn in a situation where they're in a hole where they can't climb out of. This first quarter, Jake, is huge.
Back.
No, this first quarter is huge. It has to go like it did against Georgia.
Yeah, well, here's what you can't do. And this is the most gutting thing for any defense, let alone a defense that's going against an offense with the talent that Alabama has. We always talk about at the quarterback position, making the routine throws routine, right? Well, you have to make the routine plays if you're Auburn. You have got to be able to tackle well. Not that you're not going to miss some tackles. These guys are really talented. But when you get a chance for opportunities, you cannot miss. This is the Patriot. This is aim small, miss small. Mel Gibson, you're not good enough to not take advantage of plays that go in your favor. Overthrows to get them to third down. The worst thing that can happen that'll gut you, that guts any defense, like I was mentioning, is you stop them on first down at 2nd and 8. You stop them on 2nd and 8, and it's 3rd and 7. You've got them locked up in a predictable passing down on 3rd and 7, and you let Milroe escape and go run for 9 yards and a first down. Auburn cannot give them extra possessions. Just like in baseball, you don't want to give them more than 27 outs because that's how gravity eventually overtakes you even quicker.
Yeah. And I think the pass rush is obviously going to be a part of that. Alabama struggled at protecting their quarterback, whoever it was, because they rotated at the start of the year, similar to what Auburn did. But Alabama's 118th in college football in sacks allowed. A Bama quarterback's been sacked 38 times this season. But over the last 3 games, that's really dropped off. Just 1 sack against Chattanooga, no sacks, but multiple hurries against Kentucky, just 1 sack against LSU. I put Auburn's pass rush probably in the same tier as those 2 teams, Kentucky and LSU, as far as the pecking order of pass rushes in the SEC. They're going to have to get home. They're going to have to get home and force 3rd and longs, like you said.
Well, look. I mean, Alabama's changed their offense. If you really look at it schematically and what they're doing, they now tailor the game plan and the play calls to what Jalen Milroe does best. And it's amazing. This started against who? LSU, who does what? Scores a lot of points and scored a lot of points against Alabama. It's almost like Bama knew they were trying to put a square peg in a round hole, turning Jalen Milroe into a drop back passer and making him hang in the pocket and not calling a bunch of RPOs, not calling a bunch of quarterback design runs. And then you run up against an LSU offense that's torching everybody. And you say, all right, well, maybe we need to implement some of his strengths. And then your offense goes nuts. So this isn't the beginning of the year Alabama offense. Auburn, to me, one of the biggest questions, like it normally is right now with Auburn's talent level, even though McLeod has come on, it's to get pressure. Do you have to bring pressure? Or will Auburn be able to hit home sometimes, or at least get him off his spot and force, off-balance throws and off-platform throws with only 4? That remains to be seen.
Well, and there's been something about this game at Jordan-Hare Stadium where that front 4, something just possesses them where they have the best games of the season. I mean, we saw it in the 4 overtime loss a few years ago. I mean, Derek Hall and Eku Leota played out of their mind. I mean, we saw it. Yeah. We saw it with Marlon Davidson a few years ago and Derek Brown. I mean, we've seen Auburn be able to just rush 4 against this Alabama team when it's been at Jordan-Hare Stadium. And look, if you told me that Jalen McLeod plays out of his mind, or Marcus Harris really, really steps up, or Elijah McAllister, who's gotten better, I think, over the course of the season as a pass rusher, if somebody like that were to step up and have the game of their life, Jake, it wouldn't shock me.
No, look, nothing in this game would shock me, Zach. I don't think it shocked. If aliens landed halfway through the first quarter, I'd be like, all right, well, what's the score and how are we doing? I wouldn't be shocked.
That's right.
This game at Jordan-Hare it's an absolute.
Hugh Freeze would be like, "Hey, you wanna come play linebacker next year?"
Yeah, he'd be like, "Hey, run this route real quick. Let me see. let me see how your hands are."
Can you play tight end?
Reticula 4, yeah, probably could. No, but I mean, look, guys, this game brings out the best in a lot of people, brings out the worst in other people. Every chapter is a little bit different, but it does seem to be that Auburn, when they're at home, just like you would think, seems to punch above their weight, even though, look, Derek Hall was a really good player. But, sure, some players, tend to punch above their weight in this game. And Auburn's going to have it. I mean, it's going to take more than that. It is going to be a full, everyone hands on deck. Doesn't matter if you're the starting 3 tech, if you're the trainer, if you're the hot dog salesman. It's going to take all of Auburn, fans, everybody, to be able to have a chance to win this one.
Yeah. I can't imagine. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be there. I'm looking forward to the 10-year anniversary. I'm sure they've got some crazy stuff ready for the kick six.
Yeah, man.
The Rod Bramlett call. I mean, I think the emotional buildup, as far as like the fan perspective, like you said, I think it's totally going to be there.
Yeah, and look, it's amazing. It's one of the greatest plays in the history of college football. But it's time to make some new memories, man. Like I'm sick of having to look back 10 years. And be like, man, you remember when? I'm sick of it. It's time to make some new memories that we can celebrate, 10 years from now. Like at some point, we got to start taking this thing back a little bit. I'm ready. It's going to be great, and it's amazing. I'm ready to make some new memories, man. I'm sick of having to go back and do the remember wins all the time. Like we have to do against Georgia. Hey, man, remember when in 2013? It's the same year. It just, man, at some point, like let's make some new memories.
Yeah, I do think with that, though, you've got to have a moment within the game. Like the 2017 Iron Bowl, they just lined up and beat them. Like Auburn was just the better team for, 55 of the 60 minutes of that game. And it's like, well, there's not like a specific moment to remember. I do think that kind of plays into the branding of what that game was.
That wasn't again. Those were two. Auburn was in a totally different position as a team. That's it'd be nice to sneak one on this end. You know what I'm saying? You talk about momentum moving forward. Like here's the things. Like all these people, and I'm as pissed off about it as anybody. Nobody's more upset about the New Mexico State loss than the guys in that building, right? Yeah. The guys who put in the work. But you go and find a way through magic, witchcraft, whatever, to win this one. And all of a sudden, all that happened last week, man, that's gone. That's gone. That's in the past. You talk about momentum, recruiting momentum. You have a chance, and thank goodness, thank your lucky stars that you have a chance to redeem after what happened last week against Alabama at home this week. I mean, at the end of the day, at least you get another chance.
Yeah. Does the loss last week matter as much as people are acting like it does? Jake, we'll discuss that in just a moment right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at Auburn Med Aesthetics. Guys, we've all been there. It's the day before, even the day of an anniversary or a birthday, or maybe it's a few weeks out from Christmas. Then you got to get something, the perfect gift for your significant other. Head over to auburnmedaesthetics.com and get a gift card. They do Botox, facials, laser treatments. They do a ton of stuff. Whatever it is, it'll make your wife, fiance, girlfriend feel incredible. They'll also love meeting with Dr. Nancy Herring and her master esthetician, Circe Kelly. They got 15 years of experience in this med spa industry. And look, guys, gentlemen, they do Botox as well. So get over to Auburn Med Aesthetics, the full service med spa serving Auburn, Opelika, and Lee County. Gift card purchases are easy at auburnmedaesthetics.com or just stop in to see them. They're on East Glen Avenue across from Chappie's. Remember, Auburn Med Aesthetics is perfect for last-minute gift cards. Guys, we promise she will love it. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. It's what brings home the winning trophy, and it's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, and a bunch of other parts. They've got over 122 million parts, so they've got it. If you're thinking about a car part right now, they've got it. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or you get your money back. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, turn your car into the MVP at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Jake Crain, our guest on this Iron Bowl Eve. There's still folks talking about the New Mexico State loss from last week, and rightfully so. It was historically bad. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen again this Saturday. I don't love the whole, well, they've got to move on or they can't prep for Alabama. I think those things can overlap, Jake. I think you can still be ticked off and embarrassed by what happened last week and still be motivated and hungry to win the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, look, first off, I want to say I grew up with the Herrings. They're incredible people. I get no money for that ad, but they will treat you unbelievably right. Shout out to Harry, Nancy, Chip, the whole family.
The first time I talked to them, Jake, they're like, we love Jake Crain. And I'm like, yeah, me too.
That's they're like family. Harry actually texted me the other day, but unbelievable people. They'll definitely treat you right. Look, here's the truth about this game, the New Mexico State game. I think it was multiple things. I think one of the reasons that Auburn lost was because they were looking ahead a little bit, even though I know the coaches beat it into their heads how good New Mexico State was, but they were very peanut butter jelly from a play calling standpoint. And also, I want to make sure that everybody understands New Mexico State showed up and beat Auburn. They beat them. They were the better team that day. As crazy as that may sound, and as you hear the name New Mexico State and you're like, oh my God, this isn't a terrible team. It's an inexcusable loss, but this isn't like Alabama State came in here and won. That's not who this is. But here's what I'll say. Yes, you want to move on. Of course you want to move on. But a little bit of it ought to embarrass you.
Yeah.
A little bit of it ought to anger you. You ought to have a little hate in your heart this week. And there's nothing that motivates human beings in general, especially 18 to 22-year-old males, more than embarrassment, more than somebody coming into your house that you're better than, that you're paying $2 million to show up, and taking the remote and sitting down in your chair. How are you going to respond from that? And like I said before, earlier, you get a great opportunity here, but I can guarantee you this. Like I said, nobody's more upset than the coaches in that building, the players in that building. This will not happen again under Hugh Freeze. I'm just telling you. People forget, and I'm not saying Hugh Freeze is Nick Saban. I watched Nick Saban lose to a bad La Monroe team, a team that New Mexico State would beat by 40 if they played. And you see what they turned into. This takes time. And sometimes that building it is the most painful part. And you learn from this. And you should have a little bit of embarrassment going in this game that you want to get right? You look at the videos of the little kids crying in the stands and things like that because you got blown out by New Mexico State at home. Use that. Harness that. Not to play over emotional or stupid, but to prepare. Prepare to play the greatest game of your life. So yes, you want to move on, but you want to harbor a little bit of that as you're going through this week, knowing, hey, guess what? We win this one, put the word out, we're back up.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine focus was an issue. And I've talked to some of the players, and some of the players have come on this show this week, Jake. The focus this week has been doubted. And there's so many Auburn fans out there asking, like, well, all these kids are from far away now with the transfer portal. No, they get it. They get it. They stepped on foot. As soon as you step on foot, it's a different thing, man.
There's so much time that goes into this. Regardless if you came here to the transfer portal, you put so much of your life in this, and a lot of these guys are counting on trying to make it to the NFL to have a chance to do this professionally, right? Because they love the game, and it does affect you. They would much rather Auburn be undefeated going in this game and game day coming here and it be hyped up, because the NFL scouts would be flooding here. You don't just want the NFL scouts to flood here because another team like Bama's coming in or Georgia's coming in. So yeah, look, of course they're going to be upset. You work this hard and you think of yourself as a player for Auburn. There's a lot of prestige that comes with that. But like, Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man said, man, with great power comes great responsibility. You got to show up and handle business.
Right. And I think everybody knows what's at stake here. So I'm not worried about where people are from or anything like that. I think this is going to take care. I think it's going to take care of it. I mean, from stories, I've talked to players who they're like, they'll try to wear like red gym shorts or red gloves to practice. They're like, nope, go change. You can't wear that here because that's it. I mean, it's just, so I think over the course of the off season, they get it.
Oh,
so
I mean, this rivalry, word travels.
Right. And even if you weren't a part of this, if you're somewhere out west, like you still know where you were when the kick six happened. I mean, that was
for sure.
Or all of these Iron Bowl moments that we've talked about. So we'll see what happens. As far as quarterback play, Jake, what are you expecting, and what does Peyton Thorne need to do to pull this off tomorrow?
Everything. You can't miss, man.
Yeah.
You can't miss. Like you've got to play. Like if you want people to say Peyton Thorne needs to be the guy next year, go win this game, go ball in this game, and you'll take care of a lot of business going into next year. But look, you're gonna have to utilize his legs. He's gonna have to be confident. Auburn is gonna have to pitch backwards some play calling wise. You're not gonna be able to just line up there on first down. All right, it's first down, we're running it. There's got to be some sort of unpredictability and the ability to keep Alabama on their toes and not be predictable, not just try and wait them out right in this game, because you're not going to. That's not the way you're going to hang in there. You've not that you come in here and run 35 trick plays. You only throw it on first down. You have, to me, this is where that RPO game where you spread everybody even, and as talented as Alabama is, get those one-on-one matchups, and some guys are going to have to win. You know what I'm saying? Fairweather, you're going to have to ball. Javarius Johnson, Caleb Burton, all these guys. This got to be the Camden Brown. This has got to be the game where some of y'all really start stepping up and making the play. Malcolm Johnson holding on to the ball like the one against Georgia. You can't drop this one regardless of how good. I'm so sick of hearing about how many great plays other teams are making. Somebody go make a great play. You can't just sit here and draw up everything perfectly as a play caller and just trick everybody the whole game. At some point, somebody who plays on this team on the outside has got to man up and go make a damn play in a big game like the Iron Bowl. Somebody step up and go make it. Peyton, run it like you've never run it. Throw it like you've never thrown it. Jarquez, run it like you've never run it and catch it when they throw it to you. Guys on the outside, go make plays. You got to win this one together. It's going to take everybody.
How can Auburn win the Iron Bowl? We discuss that in just a moment, right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at Eddie's Calzones. Eddie's Calzones is located at 130 North College Street in downtown Auburn, across from the new Target. There's nothing like Eddie's. They've got specialty calzones, extra crispy wings. They've got sides like loaded curly fries and tots. And also, sources have confirmed that they have the coldest beer in town. They are open and delivering until 4 a.m. It's a late night tradition in downtown Auburn. So when everything else is closed, Eddie's is not. And also, if you're just at home late in the Iron Bowl, let's say Auburn wins a major game and you just can't sleep that night, you want some calzones or wings, hit up our friends at Eddie's Calzones. They've also got a bunch of specials. Be sure to check out their website for that. Eddie's Calzones Auburn, or give them a call at 334-329-5111. Eddie's Calzones, wings, and beer, open and delivering till 4 a.m. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Game Time. Game Time is the best place for last-minute tickets. You want to go to the Iron Bowl. You do. You just do. And you can just download the Game Time app and use code LOCKEDONCollege. You get $20 off your first purchase, $20 off your Iron Bowl tickets. Go do it. Go do it. It's worth it. Game Time's a great app. You can see the field, the view from your seats in the venue. All you have to do is download the Game Time app. And once again, use code LOCKEDONCollege, all one word, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Jake Crain with us for a final few minutes here. How's Auburn win this? I think they've got to run the ball effectively. Jarquez Hunter needs more than 8 touches on the day. Peyton Thorne's going to have the game of his life. And like you said, somebody in the wide receiver room outside of Rivaldo Fairweather has to step up.
Without a doubt. Look, Auburn's got to play. Auburn's got to punch above their weight, right? But it's all about how you view yourself, I think, in this game. If you're an Auburn player, like you don't need to have to rely on some magical play to save you. You got it in you. It's one game. It's one game, man. And look, Alabama has more talented players than Auburn. Nobody's arguing that. But it's not like Auburn has the worst players ever. There are guys that are capable of having their best game in this game. But if you view yourself as worse than them, if you view yourself as needing magic or needing help, you're not going to go in there and do it. These guys, they act like Auburn doesn't deserve to walk on the same side of the street as them, right? That's how they act. That's what they think. And they'll tell you about it. And the fans feel the same way at the end of the day. And that's fine. But deep down, they don't like coming to this place. They don't like seeing this jersey because they know Auburn is not afraid of them. So whether it's the fans, whether it's the players, whether it's the coaches and Etheridge and all of them, they understand it. They know what it's like to beat these guys to sleep. They know what it's like to show up expecting to win. My challenge to everybody in Auburn is show up to this game expecting to win. We don't need any help. We got us. Yeah, you need to be unpredictable. Yeah, schematically, you need to be good. Yeah, you need to tackle well, and we can go through all these points that Auburn needs to do. But at the end of the day, this is a game of blocking, tackling, and being able to make the big play in the big moment. That's what this game is about. And I challenge every Auburn player, when you show up to that game, you show up thinking you're the best in the country. The best in the country. I'm sick of hoping. Hope gets you nowhere. Go do it. Show them the way and be the team that turns it. Be the team that gets Auburn back to where they belong. You can do it this week, coming off the lowest that we've been. Last week, whether you've gone to church, whether you've gone to the grocery store, whether you've gone anywhere, you've heard about the New Mexico State thing. Everybody wants to laugh about it. Well, you know how you shut them up? You go out there and you beat them. So show up to the game expecting to win, and you never know. You may be able to.
Score prediction tomorrow?
You know, I feel like it's a game where it's Auburn's going to stay close. Can they keep Jalen Milroe from making the big play? I can't sit here and say they need to show up expecting to win if I'm not expecting, Auburn to win. Give me Auburn finding a way, man. Give me 31-27.
Let's go. Let's go.
31-27. I can't sit here and preach this without believing it myself. So.
Yeah, no, I think that's outstanding. I think I'm sticking with mine, 35-17 Alabama. So I like yours a lot better.
Yeah.
Jake, real quick, how do people check out everything you've got going on?
Yeah, man, it's really easy. If you watch your sports, the sports shows you consume, go to YouTube at CRAIN and Company. If you listen, it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Really easy. And yeah, man, it ought to be an interesting week and weekend for sure.
No question. That's Jake Crain. Happy Thanksgiving to you, my friend, and happy Thanksgiving to you guys watching, and have a good Iron Bowl. We'll see you guys as we recap it Sunday morning. Click that subscribe button, like the video. We'll see you then. Have a fantastic day, everyone. This has been Locked On Auburn.